Hello, I'm Bruce Zimmerman. This is the Open Line Garden Show podcast for this week. Some new products and things for you to look for in 2014. Now, some of you who have followed my blog know that I have created several different mirrors for my garden. Now, these stay out year-round, and they can be wooden frame, metal frame, and I have done both. So what you should do is consider that this gives perspective, and it takes a small garden and makes it look like, if you do it right, either a window to another garden or a doorway to another garden. Well, J&R Enterprises will be selling these in Ontario, and you'll probably find them out there, I would say anytime from March on. This is a mirrored garden trellis. Now, it's an optical illusion. It gives the idea of 3D. So, it will end up the center being a oblong from the ground up mirror with a trellis around it. But because the ribs on the trellis are all angled such that it looks like it is actually not flat but 3D. It'll go on a wall, it'll go on a fence, it can go anywhere, and of course it will reflect your garden from what's behind it or in front of it. And when you stand and look at it, you will of course see yourself if you stand right in front of it. But if you stand slightly to one side, you will not see yourself. You will only see the garden, and it'll look like a trellis going through to another garden. So take a look at that. It'll be out in the garden centers in 2014 in the spring, and it's from J&R Enterprises. Its technical or name that you're going to ask for is 3D Trompe de l'Oeil Garden Trellis. My French is terrible. But anyways, that's what I want you to go and take a look at. It is super cool. I wouldn't want to do the work to build this one, but I would definitely buy it because it'd be cool in my quiet garden. Now, if you're a pond person and you know what happens when the herons do finally find your pond with the koi and other carp and goldfish in there, that you want to protect them from the herons. Well, Fish Protector has been created by Bird Be Gone. Okay, that sounds a little strange. Some of us want birds, and I guess some of us don't want birds. But the company called Bird Be Gone has developed a fish protector. Now, this is a hexagon, and it is a web, and it links together, and it goes over and around and across your pool so that your pond will not be fished by the herons. It's made of polyethylene. It has got the UV protected in it, so you know that it's going to last quite a while. And you get 12 of these in a pack. So that's kind of neat. You'll like them. They all snap together, and it'll help to prevent those herons from going and, of course, feeding on your sometimes very expensive koi. Now, for those of you who know that I sit on the St. Catharines Advisory Committee for Tree Bylaw, okay, we have met with both the city people working on the city bylaw and on, of course, this will be for the public bylaw. Now, Mississauga always likes to lead the charge on the environment, is going to do even more. What they're going to do, and this should take place in January 2014 property tax year. If you have no lawns in your garden, you will pay more in taxes over and above what you normally pay. Now, if you've got 80%, 20%, then you're going to get dinged for extra taxes. Why? Because they say that hard material is going to shed rainwater, and they're going to have to deal with rainwater. Now, with rainwater, you're going to find that, of course, it's going to the storm sewers, and it has to be dealt with in the wastewater plants. Now, when you've done that, when we talk, and it's mainly all about lawns, but it also describes gardens. So in the soft surfaces, if you have gardens and lawn, and you minimize your hard surfaces in Mississauga, your taxes probably will not go up beyond what you pay for normal. But if you've got hard surfaces, you're going to be dinged good for the fact that you're going to create extra rainwater. The other effect is that with soils that are covered in a solid material where moisture is not present and oxygen, and there's no good bugs in there working on the organic matter, and it's not a living soil, and it's the living soil that helps to improve the environment. And of course, if you read the NASA study from the early, I would say, 70s about space travel and how to take and clean the air in your homes, then you would know that the soil is extremely important, and the microbial activity will actually take pollutants and other, bad guys out of the environment. And of course, if they're covered in hard surfaces, the soil will not do that. So it's totally legitimate and should actually be done. So if you're not a gardener and you don't like hard surfaces and you don't want to cut your lawn, then you're going to pay for it in your taxes each and every year. Now, Proven Winners has got a beautiful combination you're going to see in 2014. It is called Strawberry Kiss. Now, this is cool. It's a combination of 3 plants, and it's going to look great anywhere where you're looking more for a softer, more pastel look. It's not right in your face. Now, it's got Super Bell's Pink, which is Calibrachoa. It's got Superbenia, which is the Royal Whitecap Verbena. And it's got Supertunia, Mini Apple Blossom Petunia. So it has got petunias, Calibrachoa, and verbenas in it. And the combination is totally gorgeous. And I can understand why they call it Strawberry Kiss. So if you've got a bright place, sunny, where you have good soil, because I find all of these plants really require moist, good soil with a pH of about 6.5, then you know that this plant is going to look good in containers, almost to the point where I think I wouldn't mind seeing this one dropped into the garden, just as a massive display. But it would be expensive, and you'd have to see how it's going to put together in a garden and garden soil. It is designed for container growing. Strawberry Kiss from Proven Winners. Now, we all know that the plants in certain conditions, of course, are invasive. English oak in South Africa is a weed. Now, here we pay money for it, but there it's a weed and it has to be eradicated. So here's an invasive plant alert, and it is American-based, but I want you to be aware that these plants are actually invasive, because I think you'll be shocked to hear which ones there are. Black pine, which is Pinus thunbergii, is an invasive weed in Delaware, Rhode Island, and Virginia. Bush clover, which is Lepidoptera, is a weed and invasive in New Jersey. Creeping Jenny, Lumsamachia numularia, is a weed in Connecticut, Indiana, Maryland, Michigan, Missouri, New Jersey, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Virginia, Wisconsin, and West Virginia. Okay? It's a cool plant. I've got a golden one growing in a container, and it does winter over in the container outdoors. Heavenly bamboo, Nandina domestica, is a weed in Georgia, Florida, North Carolina, and Tennessee. Japanese maple. Yes, this is going to actually blow your mind. Japanese maple, Acer palmatum, is an invasive weed in Virginia. Miscanthus. All those Miscanthus sinensis you have in your garden are invasive weeds in the following. You're not going to believe this. Connecticut, Georgia, Illinois, Indiana, Maryland, North Carolina, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, and Wisconsin. Whoa. Parrelia, Indiana, Maryland, Missouri, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, and West Virginia. So, normal garden plants that you grow can become invasive as the environment warms up, climates change, and these plants that were never invasive are now just that, invasive. A workshop coming up, and it'll be in January. So we want to get you out and doing something in January, just not sitting around. Let's do animal tracking. Now, this is the Arboretum workshops. The Arboretum at the University of Guelph is putting these workshops on. They have different costs for different ones. Some are family activities, some are not. But the family tracking, yeah, let's track our families. Animal tracking is on Friday, January 24th, 2014. They have one on winter photography on Saturday, January 25th. That one would definitely be nice to go and actually take in. That one would be a good one. There's another one on basic SLR photography on Saturday, February the 15th as well. So there you go. Some things to do and keep yourself busy this winter. I'm Bruce Zimmerman. This is the Open Line Garden Show podcast for this week.